Good evening, I'm Maciej Mikos and this is Ukraine Brief. Today marks day 1442 since Russia launched its full-scale invasion of Ukraine. The second round of Trilateral peace talks began in Abu Dhabi today between Ukrainian, Russian and US delegations. The Ukrainian side says that the first day of meetings was substantive and productive. After beginning on Wednesday afternoon, the first day of peace talks in Abu Dhabi have now reportedly ended and are expected to continue on Thursday. The Ukrainian delegation is led by chief negotiator and head of the National Security and Defense Council, Rustem Umerov. Umerov is joined in Abu Dhabi by President Zelensky's chief of staff, Kirill Budanov. Representing the United States are envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, while the Russian delegation is led by the director of Russian military intelligence, Igor Kostyukov. In a statement on Wednesday afternoon, Umerov said that following trilateral talks, work would continue in separate groups organized by specific tasks. Afterwards, the negotiators are expected to reconvene and attempt to find common ground in key territorial and security issues. This comes as the Kremlin continues to push Kyiv into ceding control of the Donbas, with Moscow repeating this morning that Russia's war in Ukraine will continue until key decisions are made on the matter. Ukraine's foreign ministry spokesperson said today that the peace talks focused on military matters, emphasizing that Kyiv's position on Donbas and the Zaporizhzhia Nuclear Power Plant remains unchanged.
The focus of these peace talks will primarily be on military and military political issues. This is clear from the composition of the delegations meeting there. There are many nuances regarding how, hypothetically, the war could end, which is what Ukraine is interested in. The Ukrainian side is interested in finding out the real intentions of the Russians and what the Americans intend to do in this context. I hope that this will be successful. At the same time, when it comes to the most sensitive and complex issues, such as territorial issues, including the Zaporizhzhia Nuclear Power Plant, our position remains unchanged. We believe that these issues should be discussed at the leadership level, and President Zelensky has been and remains ready for such a meeting.
Peace talks in Abu Dhabi have not dissuaded the Kremlin from launching mass attacks against Ukrainian civilians, including with cluster munitions and strike drones. 7 people died and another 15 were wounded on Wednesday morning when Russian forces shelled the city of Drushkivka in the Donetsk region, located approximately 17 kilometers from the front line. Donetsk Governor Vadim Filashkin said on Wednesday afternoon that Russia shelled a busy market with cluster munitions and dropped 2 aerial bombs on the city. In the nearby city of Kramatorsk, Russian forces attacked another market with a strike drone, with no casualties reported. Another 5 people were wounded in a Russian drone strike on the city of Odessa on the Black Sea. The strike damaged administrative buildings, residential buildings and 2 kindergartens. In Zaporizhzhia, 2 young adults were killed and another 8 people were wounded on Tuesday night following a Russian strike on the city. Another Russian drone injured 7 people when it struck a 5-story apartment building in the city of Kyiv. Local authorities in Ukraine's Zaporizhzhia region are urging residents to evacuate as Russian attacks intensify and entire villages are left in ruins. With families fleeing and mostly elderly residents remaining, many say the violence has left them no choice but to abandon their homes.
After all these attacks, when 3 houses in our village were destroyed, it became very frightening, and we decided to leave. It's about protecting the children, making sure they have normal living conditions.
There are almost no families with children left. In most cases, these are elderly people.
We thought that if we drove them out, all this would stop. But then we realized that things would only get worse and worse, and that it would be better to leave the city.
If you compare it to a month ago, back then it was fairly easy to get in and out here. Buses were still running. Now a month has passed, and every day, every week, we see more destruction and greater risk of entering towns like these.
And that's all from Ukraine today. Thank you for watching and stay with us for more here on TVP World and tvpworld.com.